Unleash the power of purpose with impactful business voices, hosted by Nancy Backey and Anita Larson. Each week, you'll be inspired by stories from companies that are making a real difference in the world, and you'll learn practical tips on how to grow your business with an impact.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Impactful Business Voices podcast. We are here every week. We talk to business owners that make an impact on the world, on their communities, on their clients. And we really want to be able to find out what drives them, learn more about their journey, and see how, as well, that they are impacting the world. I'm your host, Nancy Backey.
And I'm Anita Larson. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again here on another Tuesday. So it's time to introduce our special guest today, and we're always excited when we have an amazing guest with us. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Trena Bolden Fields. She's a transformation specialist. She's a certified life coach. She's an international speaker, an author, strategist, content creator, publisher, actor. She's done it all, and she's super creative. She's the founder of Bolden Fields Coaching, and she's committed to helping change makers and visionary leaders get clarity, create a plan for success, and make the life-changing impact they're here to make. So basically, she's in the business of helping other people make an impact as well. So let's welcome Trena. Hi there.
Hey, Trena.
Oh, we can hear you, Trena.
Awesome. It's really great to meet you again. It's funny how we've met in another world and we've come here, and then Anita and I know you. Anita knows you as well. So it's really nice to see you on our podcast. So, we are always so curious to learn more about what you do. I know Anita knows you a lot more, but our listeners don't. And I surely would love to know a little bit more about you and the impact that you're making. But can you start by maybe sharing a little bit of information about the work that you do for your clients and really how you have helped them? This is something I believe it's going to strike a lot of people's eyes. So yeah, please share away.
Definitely. And I want to say thank you so much for having me on. I so appreciate this opportunity to be in space with you, Nancy, and with you, Anita. And yes, Anita and I have known each other for a little while, and you and I have connected as well in a different space. And a little bit about me. I am Trena Bolden Fields. I am a certified coach. I am a transformation specialist and expert. I host the You Are Worthy Summit. And what I really do is I help change makers make the change that they're here to make in the transformation. And I love what I do. I do that work through coaching, through marketing support, publishing, and I'm really excited about it and continue to support people on this journey.
I love it.
And like you said, we've known each other for a little while now, and I know that you have so many great stories to share. And we just talked about this before we got on today, even. But I would like to start you off, if you could please share the story behind your logo. And for those of you that are not familiar with Trena, go to her website, trenaboldenfieldscoaching.com, and you'll see this really cute logo, which is a red jumpsuit next to her name. And there is such a amazing story behind it. Yeah. And I think it just really illustrates how important it is to connect your brand of your business with your personal experience and values. So would you mind sharing what that red jumpsuit stand for?
Sure. I don't mind at all. I'll share that with you all. So for me, when I was young, I was an explorer. I would love to go out and explore the city, explore my yard, right, initially, and be on the playground. And being in dirt was something that I absolutely enjoyed. And what I would do is I was maybe about somewhere between 5 to 7 years of age. And my mother had brought me this red jumpsuit, and my favorite color at the time was red. And I would put on this red jumpsuit and feel empowered. And so it's like I would be like, that was my Superman cape kind of thing putting on. And I would go out into the world and just be boldly and be who I was in the natural element, engaging in the dirt. And I would wear this jumpsuit every single moment that I could. So if I had it on one day, I was putting that jumpsuit back on the next day. And my mother would say to me, she was like, "Hon, you can't wear this jumpsuit every single day. I have to laundry it." So I would be fishing it out from the laundry so I could put it on, and she was steadily trying to get it for me so she could wash it. But this jumpsuit just gave me such a feeling of boldness and empowerment, that I just absolutely loved it. And so what I do with this process is I talk to sometimes my clients about the story and this journey that I had with putting on this red jumpsuit and going out into the world as a little being, and how much encouragement and empowerment it gave me. But to think about, what is your own red jumpsuit story? Because each and every one of us has a story of empowerment within, something that we do for supporting of ourselves. So if you can take that literal story and turn it into something that you can move internally, what empowers you to be bold, to be who you are, to do the work that you're here to do? When you put that energy on, and I say that energy because that's what it is, and you go out into the world, you feel like you can create what you're here to create. And so that's the story, and that's what's behind the logo, is that encouragement for everybody to find what's their red jumpsuit energy, their red jumpsuit story, and put that on for them to go out into the world and do the work that they're here to do.
Yeah, I love that story.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I really love the fact that you built your business on something that you faced when you were younger. You know, because I think every business that does that is really, you know, they've gone through a problem and now they're working on a solution to help others in the same boat. Now, are you able to share a personal story of a time when you were facing one of, you know, a significant challenge or a setback in your own journey? You know, we've all had some, but how did you go through it? How did you overcome it? Maybe just give a little idea, because, you know, again, I believe that when people share stories, other people are like, "Oh my God, that sounds like me."
Yeah.
You know, so that they're more open to understanding, "Oh my God, there's a way."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I've faced a number of challenges throughout my journey and story, and I have so many stories that I can share. So you let me know how many you want. You're like, yet, you know, the story of overcoming challenges and barriers is one that, you know, I've had to face on a number of occasions in my life. And there's just this one story that I share about when I was an actor and I was performing work, and I was very young, and how I had a situation where I couldn't do work, and it upset the casting director. So it upset that casting director so that he called my home, and I was living with my parents because I had just graduated college, and I was working on a project that I was on contract for, but I couldn't do the project he wanted to book me for. And he was so upset about it because the producers really wanted me on this project, and I just wasn't available. And so he called my home, and back then we had answering machines. I know, you know, where you leave and hear the voice. Everybody could hear the person leaving the message.
For those of us who remember those.
Yeah. And he cursed me out and called me all kinds of names on that answering machine. I was 19 years old. And and he told me he was going to blacklist me. I would never work in that town again as an actor. And I was distraught because I was a young person. I was working my career, trying to do all of these things. And then to have that, you know, come up. And my mom called him, and he ended up cursing her out. And I thought at that moment, like, this is a profession. We should be professional. And yeah, I couldn't make it. And that may have upset you at the time, but we can handle this in a different way, right? But I had to believe in me and my own abilities, and believe that there was no one who could dictate my career but me. And I stood fast on that. I really got to that point of understanding, and I continued to book work. I ended up building a 25-year career working on regional stages out in a different country. I was at the Market Theater in South Africa. I was at Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. I produced or performed in film, did film work, still did commercial work. continued to even book work after I got married and when I was pregnant, booking work doing a national commercial. But I continued to work because I made the decision that no one else could make that decision about my own life but me. And so that was a challenge that I had to overcome, the feeling in someone else trying to tell me what they would do, and really stand strong in what I believed and continue to do the work that I felt that I loved and was called to do at the time.
It's amazing to get a lesson like that at such a
Oh,
young age, and then taking the high road and deciding that you're going to do what's best for you and showing more maturity than the professional that I'm sure the producer had been around a lot longer than you had. So for you
But
to
it's also,
dance at that age, it's amazing.
yeah, it's so important. It's amazing also that she took it and she didn't quit. Where a lot of people will be like, oh, okay, he told me I can't do it. I can't do it. What are you talking about? You know, it's like, what are you talking about? Nobody could tell me what I believe God made every human being the same way. You can learn whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. You just have to go and learn from somebody who did it to do it. Right. And don't let nobody stand in your way. I love your strength.
Thank you. And this was what really got me on the journey of doing the work that I do today, because I knew at that moment that I didn't want anyone else to feel the way I felt at that time. And I know people do. I can't save everybody in the world, right? That's not what I'm here to do. But I knew that I wanted to work with people in the creative field, work with educators at the time to help them know that they're worthy. And that they can do the work that they were here to do. Because I felt no one should feel that way. No one should feel that they're blocked from achieving their goals. So what could I do to help people move beyond challenges, to move beyond barriers? And that's where the life coaching kind of idea came from. But I ended up going to get a master's degree in psychology because I felt that I wanted to use these tools to help people move forward in life, to help people get to where they needed to be. And then I got certified as a life coach. So that really was something I still went on to perform and act, but at the same time, I decided to get a master's degree. I decided to, do this backward because I really wanted to make sure that I had the tools to help people.
Really awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And and I do believe, any of us here, as well as any listeners or viewers, I'm sure we've all been in that situation at some point in our professional life where somebody has tried to find ways to get us to do something we can't do or won't do because it's what's best for them. And, and I'm sure a lot of times we have gone along with it, and other times maybe we haven't been able to, and it has hurt our career. Those are things that happen, like I would say, in the corporate world all the time, not even just in the corporate world, in any type of professional environment. It happens all the time when you have engagement with people that are looking out for themselves and not showing the professional courtesy or consideration, if you will.
Right.
And it is important to take that stand.
Yeah, definitely. Because only we know what's best for us, right? And there's some people who can share things with us and see things, but ultimately it comes down to our decision, our energy, our ability, our capacity to move forward in the ways that we want to move forward in. And I've had to journey through that as well, of really finding myself and my route forward and not looking for validation or being all things to all people.
Yeah.
I was at a point where I was working a job where I was a director of a program at a college, and I loved the work. It was absolutely beautiful. Yet I was doing all the things. I was really doing 4 different roles that each of those roles could have been full-time. And I was showing up everywhere. I was representing the campus. I was taking care of the students. I was serving the alumni. I was the liaison between the community and the college. And I was meeting with new students, new students, but also students who were interested in coming to the college. They would have meetings with me. I was doing all of these things, and I was just everywhere. And I was on go, and I was my first year in my master's program. And I was exhausted. I was exhausted. I went to the doctor because I was that exhausted. And they did all kinds of tests and couldn't find anything wrong. The doctor just said, I think you're just suffering from extreme exhaustion. You're going to have to go on bed rest for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Literally. I had to, and it was around Christmas. So no one really knew because the campus was closing anyway for the holiday. But I had to stay in the bed for 3 weeks until I couldn't even stand or cook or clean anything. My energy I was just floored. And I had to come to the place in understanding that I couldn't be all things to all people, and that I needed to focus on me getting healing, and also realize that I needed to do the things that moved me and honored me versus trying to do the output, do everything that everybody else wanted to do for me or wanted me to do for them. And I remember I had wanted to take some time off, to take a sabbatical so I can pull it all together. And I was told, no, you can't take a sabbatical. And my thought was that I can't continue to go on like this. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice instead. And that put me on a trajectory of going full time in my work and in my business, and building it up, right? And doing the consulting work that I had started to step into, doing more coaching work and counseling work, and really working my practice at that time.
Sometimes those are the things that happen on our journey to kind of propel us to where we need to be, right?
Definitely.
It's like the universe steps in and says, this is your path. So let's shut you down right here. Take some rest, and then let's find a different direction.
Yeah, that was a full stop for me. It was a stop, and let's reroute.
And also, look, I mean, it happened to her at 7 years old, and now she's, wherever she's in her, like, this is something that happened a while ago, and she flourished and grew with it. So this can happen to anybody.
Yeah. So I had this process at 7 with the red jumpsuit, 19 with the acting work. And then this one, I think, was 24 when I was put on bed rest. Can you think about that? 24 years old, and you're exhausted and have to be put on bed rest because you've overdone it.
That's
I had to
definitely doing too much.
Couldn't continue to do life that way.
No.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about what you do now, because you do such amazing works. And I want to talk about some of the work you do with your change makers and your visionary leaders. Yes. And I know you've done a lot of work with creatives specifically as well. Mm-hmm. So basically, you help them make an impact. You help them find the work they're meant to do. So what do you think are some of the most important values and qualities that they need to possess? The clients that you work with that are here to make that impact, what are the values and qualities that they need to be able to do the work they're meant to?
Yeah, the clients that I work with, or people who want to work with me, they have to be ready for the work and ready for the change that they want to make. And because if they tell me something that they're going to do, and I'm going to expect them to do it, I'm going to hold them to that accountability piece will be there. And I'm not going to carry someone else's or do their work for them. They have to be willing to do their own work, and I give them the pieces and the path to be able to get to where we need to be. So readiness and willingness is really important for people who want to come and work with me, for them to be ready to do this work, because it is hard work. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. Mm-hmm. Going after your dreams and your goals is not easy because all kinds of things come up. Yes, imposter syndrome. You will have somebody ask you to do something when you're supposed to be working on something else. So you have to know how to put boundaries in place to move forward. So people who are willing and ready to do the work are people who I'm looking for. People who want to make a bigger impact or do something that is going to drive something that matters to them forward are who I'm looking to work with.
So is that what makes them the change makers? Is that they have this drive to share something? Or what is it that makes them who they are and makes them want to make the impact?
So it is about, a lot of times people have experienced some things and they've seen some things that they want to make a change. And so having that as a part of their process works initially. I probably do not work well with anybody who aren't wanting to work on something to move forward. Like if We're just, if they're saying that they want to do it, but they really, really don't, I'll question them on it. But we get to the place of really understanding what it is that they want to do and focusing on that. And it's really about being clear about what's important to you and honoring your values. Now, people may not be clear about it, but they want to achieve something. If they come to me, we will do the work of knowing what's important to them. We will do the work of me helping them to understand how they can honor their values. This is like foundational work that we do. Then it is understanding what your purpose is, right? Some people may not have a clue, or they're in a process of rediscovering that, or coming to a new phase where they're stepping into something different. And so, yes, I do work with people in those places. But the willingness and the readiness is essential in this process. So we'll do the purpose work. And then I also help people outline their vision. So people who want to make a change or want to do something different are the people that I'm working with. And they're also wanting to do the work of really understanding what that is. And so I will help them discover it. I think that's where you were going, Anita. I will have to discover it. And that's the vision work that we do. I help people to create vision and then to take action to achieve their vision. And the consistency is essential. And a lot of times we do have to do imposter syndrome work, managing fear work, that does come into place. Ultimately is knowing that you are worthy, knowing that you belong and that you are worthy. And this is what you're focusing on. And so I do all of that support and helping my clients to activate their work and make an impact.
Yeah. And I think, you said something that's really, really important. They have to want it that bad. If they don't want it, you're not going to do it for them, right? It's just, even for us in business, I mean, we can't help a business if they're not willing to do the work. How can you help a human that doesn't even that's not really willing, or not even just willing to do the work, that really wants to actually achieve that goal or whatever it is that they're that's holding them back. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, both in the business world and the personal world, that do have a lot of limiting beliefs that really hold them back from achieving their goals, their outcomes of what they really want, what they want in life. What are some common limiting beliefs that you work with, that you've seen, and how do you really help them overcome that belief?
Some people have the belief that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I don't belong, or I'm not for sure where I belong. I don't know if I can really do it, right? Other people didn't believe in me then, right? These are like back, and people don't say this in words, but that's what's going on, right? Underneath the surface. And the work that we do, or another one is I'm fearful, right? I'm not sure. And so the work that we do is, and I share, like, when people work with me and they have those things come up, that comes up in like the third or fourth session. In our third or fourth time meeting, all of that comes up. And what we do is I go deep on them, because we need to address that before we can move forward. Because if we agree on a task and you're fearful, are you going to complete that task? So we break down that fear. We take a look at what they're sharing and saying to themselves, what they're thinking, and replacing those thoughts with the opposite. And I do work where we replace with the opposite. We get into what they're saying to themselves, what they're thinking, how can they switch that around. We get into aligning their emotions with the feelings and the words that they want to say to themselves and experience. And we do more work around that, but that's the process I take them through. It's a 5-step process that they go through with me. And each step of the process, what's happening is that we're shifting. It's like shifting gears. I should probably use that, right? Gear shifting. 5, you all. Okay. Using that process to step through to a new way of being and a new way of thinking that impacts the action that you take. Because what you think, what you say is going to be what you do. Okay. It's going to bring to you those results. So we shift what you're thinking and what you're saying so you can shift what you do and ultimately shift the results and what you experience.
I love that. So we know as entrepreneurs as well, and you already shared some of the stories with us, all the twists and turns that happens on the road to becoming where you are now.
Yeah.
And we love to just ask our guests what are, and this could be anything you can think of, but what has really surprised you the most, either about your journey or the impact that your work has made on your clients? What has been your biggest surprise through it all?
That's a good question. Oh my goodness. I think I know that what I do is life-changing and powerful for my clients, right? That's the experience that they have. I think I had one moment where when one of my clients hit $30,000 in the first 2 months of working with me. Initially, that was a surprise because I was like, wait a moment, there's a lot of new business owners I know that didn't make 2,000 in their first 3 months, and you made 30 from our work together. Okay, great. And then they hit 30K in a month. Okay, great. I know you got it, right? You got this. And so that was a surprise. But I'd love to see, I don't know if this is a surprise, but it's something that I really get excited about and why I continue to do my work is the experience and the realization that my clients have from our work together. When it clicks for them and they can verbalize that to me, that reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I get really excited about that as well. And, you know, there's evolution and growth every step of this entrepreneur journey. Sometimes I get excited about the number of people that I've been able to work with and impact because, you know, we're keeping track of that more often now. But, you know, it's like, wow, I really changed that many lives, right? And it's continued to be the ripple effect. Because if I'm doing it to that many, and then they're working with that many,
Exactly. Yes.
That's the exponential effect of the coaching work that I do. And I absolutely love it.
And I love the fact also, Trena, that you also question them on their own limiting beliefs, overcoming. You know, you don't say, oh, okay, you don't want to work on it. Okay, bye. You know, you take the time to coach them. Because we don't get coached in our personal lives, right? With our spouses and our kids. Like we don't really get coached unless you literally have a coach, right? That's where magic really happens, really, in both your personal, your business. And look what you did. You know, you had a customer who was making so little, she overcome whatever she was overcoming, and now she's making 30 a month. I mean, that's
zero.
Huge.
Was at zero when we started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Trena, we've gained so much great insights from you, and we would love to share, we'd love for you to share with the audience a little bit, you know, some tips that maybe you can have them live with, use, just so that you could provide some visionaries and change makers in our audience as well, who really want to create an impact as well. Can you give us a few tips that you use for our audience?
Sure. It's really about the clarity, right? Getting to the clarity of what that impact looks like for you. What do you want to achieve? And that is all the pieces of the values, purpose, vision, right? Process, right? That I do. So it's packaged, that's clarity. And so that's really step one. And taking a look at how that impacts your work. Are there any shifts that you need to make once you've learned some information from the clarity and then from the action? It's so important to, once you've gotten the clarity, to put it into action and to do things consistently. Take a look at what you're learning, what needs to be shifted. Shift if you need to shift. If you need to do more of what's working, which I say do more of what's working, do more of what's working and less of what's not. And moving that forward on a regular basis. I do recommend getting help and support because it's very true that sometimes we are blind. Like in long time ago, it's such a Hari window where you can't see everything around you, and you're in tunnel vision, so you're moving this way. But there may be a coach, someone like me who can help you to see the other things that you may not have considered before.
Exactly.
And so I do recommend working with a coach because they can help you with your bigger picture and help guide you along that journey. And so those are the things that I can give. I probably gave a few more.
That's great. Oh, they're awesome tips.
So I think starting with those are essential. Making sure you're taking consistent action and paying attention to what transpires from your action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we talk about your upcoming summit. And, I've been a part of several of your summits in the past, and they're always amazing. So can you share a little bit about the next You Are Worthy Summit and what people can expect from it?
Yes.
And how can they join, obviously?
Yes, for sure. So people can join us at youareworthysummit.live. And the summit is life-changing. We've hosted it for 2 years previously. This will be our third year, and we're doing it in person in Atlanta, June 28th through the 30th. And we have some dynamic speakers and experts that are going to be doing workshops to help you to claim your worth, really to step into a bolder version of you and make a bigger impact. That's the work that we'll be focused on. And it's going to be a shifting time for you. I think that when people have chatted with me or had a moment where they've gotten a great nugget, even from like our interview and conversation here and now, think about how much more impactful if you're in the room with me and with these experts that are going to be speaking about that transformation and making that transformation and change that you're here to make, and being able to do it in the room. We're going to give you practical tools that you can start at the summit and then walk away with your plan of action that you can implement on a regular basis.
And this is the first time it's in person and live. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be so impactful. So
Definitely.
having been in several of the virtual summits, I definitely recommend people to sign up for this and show up if you can.
Yes.
It'll be worth it.
Thank you. Yes. And that's You Are Worthy Summit live.
I love the You Are Worthy. I think it's such an amazing name.
Mm-hmm.
And Trena, your middle name, Bolden. You are so bold to have done what you've done. So like, I am so happy to have met you. I love the impact that you're doing to each person, one person at a time. Congratulations for doing what you do best, and what you've been put on the planet to serve and help people, overcome what they have no idea, what to do with. And especially with after the pandemic, it got even worse, so like, we need more awesome people like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to the summit. And I appreciate this time with you, Nancy, and with you, Anita. It's been just an honor. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been great. So please continue to make the impact that you make so your clients can continue to make an impact and keep it going. So thank you again. We're going to put you backstage for a couple of minutes and close out the show, and we will talk to you shortly.
Thank you, Trena. Very nice to have you here. It was such a pleasure.
That was a great conversation. I love having, I love what we do. I love having impactful business voices because we get to meet such amazing people that truly are out there to make an impact. So I have just one major takeaway that kind of came up, not just one. It was so many takeaways, but there was one that really stood out to me as we went through this, and that's how important it is to know your journey and the experiences you have through your life and how they shape what you do now or what you should be doing, and making sure you reflect on it and know what you can take away from it and learn.
I love that.
I thought Trena had such great stories that just really illustrated that and brought her to where she is now. And I think if everybody can do that, it would help them gain that clarity that Trena was talking about, the clarity and vision into what they should be doing.
Yeah, I love that.
Takeaway.
And for me, I mean, it's something that I already know, but I think it's just to really share, and it reminds us, you have to be ready to make that change. Whatever change that you want to make. It doesn't matter if it's with your spouse, with your kids, with your business, with yourself. Know that you're worthy, and that's what I love about her business name. And just, know that whatever you do, make those changes, make those shifts, see those results, and if you don't see results, just like she said, go back, get more clarity, take a look at a little bit of what's impacting in your life, what's not impacting in your life. And like she said, put it into action, do it consistently. And again, when you see that you need to have a shift, make that shift. And don't be alone. I think that's like one thing that's really important, like we get stuck in life all by ourselves, speak to somebody that is not just into it for the money, that's really into serving you, that really wants the best
where you are. Like they've already had the journey and they went through it and can share their experience and what they learned.
Exactly.
And bottom line is, if you're not ready to make the change, nobody can help you. You have to be ready, and you have to be ready to do the work. Any coach you get cannot be in a place to care more about where you want to go than you do. You have to be the one that cares and does do the work, and the coach will be there to support you, basically.
Absolutely.
So great conversation. Make sure you keep in touch with us to learn what else is happening, what other opportunities are coming up. If you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out. Email us at info@impactfulbusinessvoices.com, and we can see if we can get you on the schedule.
Yep. And guys, don't miss out on our future episodes. You can always find a copy of our recording on YouTube at Impactful Business Voices. Please support us. We just ask you, click on that support button, on that subscribe button. You'll get a notification every time that we have a new episode every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We're always here.
And next week, we will be speaking with Dinah Vink. She is the founder of Holistic Nutrition Lifestyles. And this is especially for all women out there. And we're not saying only women, because it is important for men to know about this topic as well, to support the women in their lives and in their workplace, especially. Dinah educates women and helps them find relief from perimenopause symptoms through a holistic plant-based approach. She inspires, supports, and impacts women's lives on this journey in their lives. And we're very excited to speak with her further. So until next week, go make an impact.
Go make an impact, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Impactful Business Voices. Subscribe now and don't miss an episode.